everybody, Chaotic Houndoom here, welcoming you to something a little different, but something I have been wanting to do, which is just kind of analyze my own games. Now, a lot of my games are quick play games, and I have a lot in the archive, so it's kind of a, how do I handle each scenario somewhere on certain maps, with certain characters. And this first one's going to be a solo tanking Reinhardt defense on Eichenwalde. And this is a very interesting composition to be trying to tank with. And I say solo tanking because Brigitte is still support and she can really only shield herself. Mostly can only shield herself. But yeah, I did choose Reinhardt. We're still kind of in the setup right now. Actually, I need to make sure to lower the volume on this video so you don't have that trying to overtalk me, and so I don't try to overtalk myself, because I have the tendency to want to speak to be the loudest person in the room, and hopefully I also don't ramble on here. But you see Brigitte here, nice, a decent support. She's going to be played still a lot. Not a lot often, but very often, because she's still new. So here's Brigitte. We have Anna, who is being played by one of my friends. The three who grouped up with me are all friends. He is still trying to figure out Anna. He's very good with Moira, and he's a very good DPS player, which is not surprising why he'd pick up Anna, because Anna can DPS when she's not healing. Her damage output is not strong, but she can definitely cause a lot of problems. And we have Symmetra. And the Symmetra player is very good at Symmetra. Then, again, so is also, before he was a Reaper main, he was a Symmetra main. But she's pretty good on Symmetra. She auto-picked Symmetra. So I chose Reinhardt when these three had picked, and these two had not picked yet. So I was like, we need a tank. We need a good tank. We probably need Reinhardt. And normally, I don't like main tanking, and I especially do not like solo tanking. And I'm even more glad I picked Reinhardt once I saw Torbjorn come out. Once I saw Torbjorn be picked by this 2-stack. Makes it a lot easier, because when you have something like Torbjorn, you usually want to have a shield, at least in my mind. But if this was Horizon Lunar Colony, in a map like a little bit more enclosed, like Horizon Lunar Colony, or Hanamura, like a 2CP map that's a bit more closed, like Hanamura or Horizon on defense, I'd probably pick Orisa instead of Reinhardt. But because it's a bit more open, there's a bit more skies, you want a wider and a bit more mobile of a shield. So Reinhardt's still a pretty good pick. This was originally a Lucio, you can kind of see here, but it switched to Junkrat because we'd have had 3 supporters and not much damage. But Junkrat's a pretty decent pick. So, as you can see, Symmetra's here setting up turrets.
Well, technically we're running quads,
so
4 because lost him, but...
Yeah, 4 here and 2 on the doorways, which is actually a pretty interesting way to do turrets. Because most of the attack is going to either come through the bridge, either below or above, or through this door. 2 most common places. See the Torbjorn setting up on the vehicle over there. And
it's okay.
And my initial plan before we start is to try to block off this gateway as much as possible, because Reinhardt's shield fits through pretty much the whole entire archway.
I at least have a little barrier that can help whenever you're running low.
Won't do much if a Genji or anybody gets above here.
A little bit of tank, a little bit of builder, a little bit of...
But, as you can see, Reinhardt's shield can go through pretty much the entire archway. You can see a fire strike, which already tells me there's a Reinhardt, and I throw a fire strike back once I see the Reinhardt shield. And I do get fire struck back. In the Reinhardt v. Reinhardt situation is, where's your fire strikes?
Who's on the point?
Fire strikes getting through.
Oh, Diva.
Diva actually comes around from the right and gets disposed of, as well as their Pharah. And then their Brigitte. Fire Strike takes down the Torb turret, which is not a big deal, not a big loss. Reinhardt charges in a weird angle and hits the archway, gets shoved away by Junkrat. And Torb takes this. You can see there's a bit of a stalemate stuff going through. And we're doing pretty well in this defense. Maybe everybody's a little too far forward. Especially now that our Junkrat got scatter arrowed. I'll be glad when that's gone. Scatter arrow's never been that much fun. And now they've gone through the microwave and Reinhardt's trying his best to block it. And now we have a teleporterette. And I pick up the armor here because when you're the only beefy dude, Torb's armor comes in really good handy, along with any buffing from Brigitte. And our Brigitte does fall. And now one of their tanks is gone. You definitely saw...
Who's attacking my teleporter?
Pharah gets the teleporter. I don't know why I said Hanzo. I think it's just because it's killed there. We now need to back up a bit more because some of our people are dead. They're starting to come in different angles. So we back up to the point. And try to defend it a little better here. Because they're coming a bit more to the right.
Who knew where it was?
Our Brigitte rallies, and as you just heard, they rally as well. With over 600 health on Reinhardt, good blocking by me to at least somewhat block it. I get nano boosted by Ana. But I look around and I'm like, there's not really much for me to be trying to... Yeah, I do call that it was probably a little waste of a nano boost. But I don't blame the Ana if it's somebody still trying to learn Ana and win to nano boost. Good by me to pick up the shield and be able to block the explosion of Riptire. Could have very easily died there to Riptire. And nobody else being by me also makes it easy. I missed that armor there, Jed. Why did you not see the armor back? Jed, why? Shield is about to break. I don't know why I did not see the Rein charge and just countercharge. Because countercharging and stumbling on the ground is a lot better than me getting pinned. And as you see, I am not very well in health, and I end up dying.
I'm at 69% now.
Unfortunately, when you're playing solo tank, if you fall, a lot of the defense and a lot of what makes it good is going to...
You guys can hold it, which is...
And then here comes dragons. Unfortunately, the dragons end up killing any hope of that push being stopped. But I'm almost pretty close to Earth Shatter. So when a big push will start coming through, it will be very nice. And this is very important as Reinhardt, especially when you're solo tanking. You want to get a lot. In Earth Shatter in general, you want to get at least... I'd say probably 2 people, but you want to get closer to 4 to 5, but 3 is still acceptable in my mind. The more people you shatter, the better. And if it's something against a shield in like a Reinhardt v. Reinhardt situation, it is literally baiting out Earth Shatter to block. And that enemy Rein did get 1 person in an Earth Shatter, didn't get me, and didn't get to the person who was to my right. Who I don't remember what that was, but it's very important on how you Earth Shatter. Even at a gold level, I can understand. Even though I'm a gold, I understand Earth Shatter is very important. And this is going to be a very crucial defense. And a lot of us are backed up by where the old spawn was. The point A spawn. Now we've got to defend a lot to point B. This is what I consider to be rather difficult because now we're in a place where it's a lot more open and it is hard to block all of this. Because we're going to have stuff coming from here, from the top, from here, from this direction for a lot of flanking. So I have to expect, that somebody will be covering this side because I can't cover that. I'm not mobile. I'm Reinhardt. If I was D.Va, I'd probably be at least keeping a good eye, I'd probably be trying to get up here. But because I'm Reinhardt, not Winston, not D.Va, I can't do that. And I wouldn't be Winston in any situation whatsoever because it's the one tank I don't play. I don't play a whole lot. I don't play Winston. Mostly because we have, like, 5 people on my group playing Winston. When you're a group of about 10 people and about half you guys play Winston to some degree, you don't need me on Winston. But then again, we have a lot of people playing Reinhardt, too. So now I've got Earth Shatter, just blocking whatever shots come in, which is not a whole lot right now. Symmetra's getting set up. Here comes a self-destruct that I don't know why this self-destruct came out. As somebody whose most played character is D.Va by a considerable amount, I don't know why this self-destruct came out here. If you're going to launch a self-destruct, and this is just for me playing a lot of D.Va, you probably want to do it when the fight is a lot more chaotic and everybody's kind of more bunched up together. If you want to do it offensively like this got launched to where this wasn't even anything that a lot of us had to worry about. They could just get behind me, or everybody else was so far away they're not in the blast radius. Symmetra's got her shield up. I've got my shield up. Everybody's going to be fine. Didn't even break my shield. Hanzo's up here, which is where I expected him to be, trying to get a better angle at shooting us down. You know, if they're not directly behind my shield, he can get a better angle at it. And as you saw, Scatterarrow just took out Arana. And Junkrat's now up there, kind of trying to stop that. Pick up an armor pack. Picking up armor packs are very important. If you've got a tour, pick up your armor packs. Something else I will mention is it's very difficult when you have Junkrat or Pharah. And Brigitte, I don't know if she didn't see the turrets or not, jumps down in front of the turrets and is now in trouble. And there's 4 of us here. This Brigitte is going to not survive. As you can see. Yeah, Pharah or Junkrat would be pretty hard to deal with as Rein. Right now, there is both of them. It is very, very difficult, and they haven't pushed the payload a whole lot. I still can't see the payload from here. So it hasn't been pushed a whole lot. So these guys are kind of coming on ahead. Ooh, and Junkrat actually almost launches me down into the pit. But I do I am immediately pressing right to move myself back on. Because that could have very easily taken me off and fallen through into the pit. Good job on the Junkrat to at least try that. Now they're starting to come a little bit more in as a group.
Alright.
Didn't even notice that this is like my 3rd time watching through this. Didn't see the Brigitte spray.
Can I get away?
But now them taking a bit more damage, they now have Moira in the mix. Pharah's dead. Unfortunately, as you saw over here in the corner, Symmetra's kind of by herself, which is not great.
Nope.
But I am setting up to try to get a good Earth Shatter at this point, because now they're a bit more grouped together, and they're probably going to be a bit more in a line when they come around this corner. This is a very good opportunity setting up, especially with no shield tanks. I'm not seeing anybody with a good shield. While Brigitte can block some of this, even if Brigitte is around to block some of this, it's still going to get quite a bit of people to anybody who isn't directly behind Brigitte. Anybody not directly behind Brigitte is still going to get stunned by Earth Shatter. Which is good. This is getting to be an Earth Shatter setup, but you can see there's a bit of an annoyance around because I think that's a Tracer blinking. But there's a good Earth Shatter, and I wish Past Me would have brought up the tab a little bit more to see where everybody else's ults were. Yeah, that's a Tracer. D.Va just fired micro missiles. I am trying to set up this Earth Shatter. Brigitte's over there. Now I have to save Brigitte's dead. And I'm trying to set up a good way of Earth Shatter. You can see there's somebody over there, but I can't be concerned about that. That's off to the side. And I'm not mobile. I need to not deal with that. Diva's up on the bridge. And now Brigida's using her speed to get through. I've stunned. I get nano boosted. I stunned right in the middle of Coalescence. I'm like, in the middle of Coalescence, I'm being in the middle of it. They don't notice. And this is a very far away Earth Shatter. I probably should have stepped up a little bit more when I did this. But I still get 3. And I'm nano boosted. If I was a lot closer, then the next thing I'm about to do would have not probably happened as much. But I get the Diva, I get the Moira, which is the most important thing, is stopping Coalescence. And I get one other person. And because I'm so far away, I don't Fire Strike. And I should be Fire Striking. Tip number 1, never charge. And this is something, I usually don't do this, but because I'm so far away, I need to close the gap on the Earth Shatter. This is still a good shatter, at least initially, and the follow-up, and the fact is, it gets 3, I'm pretty armored up, and I'm nano boosted. I can go in, since I'm taking half damage, I'm at 570 health, because of Brigitte. Diva's on the ground already starting to get melted by Symmetra. And like I said, Fire Strike's not on cooldown. I should have launched a Fire Strike and it would have gotten both whoever this is, which I think is Brigitte, and Diva. And Diva would have not been able to Defense Matrix this. But I charge, Brigitte gets launched, I get Diva. Symmetra's going on to the Moira, it looks like. I get Diva. No, Diva doesn't get demeched. Launch a Fire Strike, which is a pretty good hit. A lot of people are low health at this point. I'm trapped on Junkrat's trap. I immediately put my shield up because this archway is actually a decent place to block most of the damage. It's only a little bit above and a little bit on the sides. But yeah, everybody does end up dying.
I was being overly aggressive for that exact reason.
And Junkrat, the only trade-off is Junkrat gets our Symmetra. And now we're going to be able to do a very good defense part. Since now they're all off the payload, and if you're going to come this way, if you're going to come anything that's not, to the left of this point, you got to get through me to get to this payload. If you're not coming from the gap down here or over here, if you're coming from basically here and to the right, you have to get through me. And I'm a Reinhardt. You don't want to be in hammer swinging range of Reinhardt because these take quite a bit. Don't want to get my health eaten by Moira. And I looked to suspect if there was, I thought I saw a Widow trail shot and I thought I got hit. Let's see if I can back this up a little bit to pull up the screen. There we go. Pull up the screen. All they have is Diva for tanking. They still have the Junkrat. They still have the Brigitte. The Trace and the Moira. And now the Pharah is now a Widowmaker. At least I think it's the Pharah. But now they have a Widowmaker, and now I can see where we are on ults. A lot of ults are still low. The closest one is my Earth Shatter, which I built up very quickly from 0 to 67. But we've got Riptire working its way there. That'd be the next ult probably to come up. Symmetra just put down another teleporter. As far as I recall correctly, there was another teleporter. Nano Boost got used. Rally got used. And apparently Molten Core got used. Somewhere in that fight. Unfortunately, you don't have a verbal cue for when a friendly Torb does Molten Core. So you don't know usually when Molten Core gets used unless you pull up tab like this.
Yeah, there's a Widow now.
Yeah, I definitely checked to suspect of a Widow shot just to be sure. Diva's up there, up on top, which is a very good position for Diva to kind of get a good idea. I take a lot of damage trying to get a Fire Strike. And I'm definitely going to die here. Because I tried to get a Fire Strike in with a lot of damage coming in. Not the best. You can see, this is actually, I have to, I'm really interested in seeing how our Ana is putting himself, because unfortunately there is part of the problem of these pillars getting in the way of shots. It's not going to be the problem much of B, because I'm big. I'm a big target. So that's not mostly the problem. It's going to be all the smaller targets. So everybody besides me. Especially Torbjorn, he's pretty short. His hitbox is pretty on the short side. So he'd have to try to thread the needle here. This is at least a bigger gap. Since he's trying to get an angle where he's far away and probably not. Since the payload's right here. Let me rephrase it. Because the payload's right here, most of us are probably going to be around that, so it's probably not the worst angle in the world as Ana. But I would tend to want to stick a little closer when I play Ana. But less about the Ana and more about me. That was just for me when I'm respawning and I'm coming back. It's not too far of a distance, and I apparently don't check to see if there's a teleporter. Or teleporter destroyed. This is a little better of a self-destruct in placement. But Ana's going to have cover. I've got my shield. And it's on very good health. And even not, they're not going to break it before the mech's explosion. So it's not going to work. It's still not going to work great. As Diva, I usually want to either have the Rein turn around so everybody can shoot at the Rein's back, or have the Rein just not be there or his shield is broken. But I'd rather the Reinhardt either not be there or force him to turn around so everybody can just wail on the Reinhardt's back because he has to block self-destruct. The only casualty is the turret. This is getting pretty close to point B. With about a minute left, swinging just in case I saw a Tracer come up on me, trying to take advantage of the fact that I'm blocking for self-destruct. That was why the swing was there. I wanted to check for Tracer. And the Tracer wasn't by me. I didn't think I saw a Tracer, but I wanted to make sure Tracer wasn't going to come up. Miss a Fire Strike, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm almost to another Earth Shatter. A lot of talking starting in my throat. Shield is getting close to breaking. I want to get another Earth Shatter here around this corner. And once again, this whole team has to try to get through me. Because that's where most of them are. They have to get around this corner and through me. Because I have put myself between them and the payload. And I just got Earth Shatter. And I'm going to use it immediately. Because I see this is the big opportunity to stun a whole lot of people. And it looks like I get 4? I think I get the Junkrat. And I think that's Widow. But Diva's down, and Brigitte, who is right in front of me and was going to start wailing on me, is down. Immediately swing on the Brigitte, Fire Strike, she is definitely done. And Diva's demeched. Widow actually probably did not get catch up on that Earth Shatter. She probably hook-shotted. And Junkrat may have been too high to not be affected by Earth Shatter. But who knows, it's still... Excuse me, did not mean to talk for this long, but at this point, this is still a very good just push-ending Earth Shatter. Maybe this wasn't the best use of Earth Shatter, maybe it was, but I stand by my decision on both the Earth Shatters I've used as pretty decent Earth Shatters. Diva is poking around here, she's out of mech, she's going to be trying to poke at me. Because I'm a pretty big target to try to get your mech back. And I try to Fire Strike because, you know, might as well try. But Brigitte is cleaning up quite a bit. And now we've gotten this payload back just because Earth Shatter kind of caused a lot of disruption. Moira is still around somewhere. Teleporter is gone. And so's the Widow, so I can at least look around a little bit without having to have my shield up and be able to kind of scout around. And interesting turret placement by Symmetra to kind of stop us from being flanked, which is good. Having to cover the flank, I can't cover the flank as Reinhardt by myself. I can't do that. But it's nice to at least look. And Tracer being out of the fight with 20 seconds left means Tracer's not going to be back until about overtime. So they can't really get a good push going until about that point. Junkrat's launching up grenades. Our Junkrat's up here on the pillar. Launch a fire strike because... And now there's the enemy Reinhardt is back. There's no way, unless it's a very extended overtime, he's going to get Earth Shatter. So I don't have to worry about the Earth Shatter coming. And it's looking like maybe the Reinhardt will probably charge their way through, hopefully to get a lucky pin, probably on me. I fire strike, and the Junkrat kind of ruins all the opportunity in the world because I get launched into the air as I'm fire striking and as they're charging. Enemy Junkrat is player of this push because it gets me out of position. It gets me out of position and out of... What am I trying to say? It gets me out of position, especially since my reaction was to fire strike into the Reinhardt and maybe get out of the way quickly enough, which is still not the best idea in the world. I need to work on, if you see a Reinhardt charge and you're Reinhardt, charge the Reinhardt as Reinhardt. Don't think I've said Reinhardt enough times.
Okay.
But my fire strike, while did not get my intended target, does get the Junkrat, and Reinhardt is by himself, and our Ana has just nano-boosted the Symmetra. Well, after two pretty failing performances on the nano-boost, I don't blame the Ana. I don't blame the Ana at all. Or maybe, since he's played so much Symmetra in the past, he's like, let's do that. It doesn't really matter which. Widow's shot goes through. Widow's trying to do something. With 2 seconds left, Brigitte and Tracer are going to start trying to get through me. I get stunned, and Brigitte starts to rally. And unfortunately, since you're by a Reinhardt, and you're flail, and you just started to rally, hoping I wouldn't kill you, maybe I wouldn't swing at you. How I tend to play Reinhardt is, if you're in hammer swinging range, I'm going to at least try it. I'm going to at least try to punish you getting this close to a Reinhardt. You don't want to get within hammer range of Reinhardt. Unless you're a Tracer and you can just dance around him for days. Or Genji. So now, most of this team is already done. So this is... all that's left is the Tracer. And what's a Tracer going to do? Nice little bit of damage, but Tracer's done. And that's the end of the game.
Okay.
And I mean, it is a very good game. Nobody ended up switching around either. We stuck with the comp we started with. Gonna let this play the game play through, but a lot of people, somebody in chat disagree, this probably wasn't the best play of the game. I personally think one of my Earth Shatter, which caused a bit, maybe it wasn't as spectacular, but just to pull up here, almost 14,000 damage block. The pushes weren't all that strong. So, at least in my opinion, the pushes weren't as great. They were a bit scattered, but that makes it pretty easy for me to just defend as Reinhardt. There we go. That's the big thing I wanted to bring up was the stats. Yeah, 9 eliminations. You know, you just pick off whoever. The most important thing is how many times I've died as tank. You're one of the key things. It's up for debate whether having your tank die first be bad or having your support die first be bad. In this case, in solo tank, if it's solo tank versus solo healer, it's bad when either one of those, if it's solo tank or solo healer, or both, because that's always great. But for solo healer, solo healer, it'd be bad. Solo tank, it's bad. So we want to be, so as solo tank, you want to die as little as possible. You want to die as little as possible when solo tanking and just tanking in general. I mean, anybody dying on the team is bad. But when you're the guy who has to, when you're the person, you're the player who has to block all the damage, it's pretty bad when you end up dying. I mean, I'm playing Reinhardt. It's not expected for me to get a whole lot of kills. And I do play a more defensive tank style than probably what it is mostly for a lot of tanks. But the thing is, how I view Reinhardt is you definitely want to block as much as can. Fire strike when you think you have the opportunity. Charges are something you have to be pretty sure it's not going to cause your own death. Or at least have a diva or somebody who can follow you up on your charge. So most of the time it'd be diva. And I see this when it's with Winstons and Reinhardts who tend to charge a little bit more frequently. When I play diva, I want to follow them because then they at least have backup and probably won't die as often. But it's a very good victory and a very good defense. Maybe it's just because everybody was scattered. Maybe it was just because everybody worked together. I don't know, but I still did my job. Still prevented a lot of stuff. And maybe we'll have a little bit more action-packed breakdown. I'm probably very likely going to do a diva episode. There's plenty of a diva episode next. That diva, it's probably going to be a DPS. Unless I find a really good game on a tank outside of diva. I mean, I play every tank but Winston to at least some working degree. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give it some likes. Share it with your friends. If you want to see how somebody on a gold level, which is about average in Overwatch, plays tank. But I will see you guys next time.